Before we get into it, guys, March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. I've got my eye on a few underdogs this year, and FanDuel makes it easy to back them with spreads, totals, and game props. So visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and get in on all the college hoop action all tournament long.
So, now granted, I'll say, obviously the Cavs are playing a very bad team in the Brooklyn Nets.
They play hard, though.
But they're bad.
Yeah.
They're really bad. Cavs was favored by 17, I think, or maybe it went down once Donovan Mitchell was out.
15.
Okay. So, but no Donovan Mitchell, no Hunter, no Ty Jerome. First of all, on that real quick, I know Kenny Atkinson said it's very minor with Donovan. Even though it's very minor, it's probably going to be nothing. I'm still a little nervous because it's Donovan, and they ain't winning anything without Donovan. We know that. Anything on a high level, you know what I mean. But it seems like he's fine. Hunter was sick, and Ty Jerome was just getting like a rest day. So even without the three of those guys, but the funny thing is they're getting just destroyed in the first half. They were down double digits, as they've been a lot lately. And there's part of me that was like, well, the Nets stink. The three of their best players are out. It's probably just not their night.
I thought they were going to lose.
Yeah, you just assumed there was going to be that they wouldn't even maybe like they would take the foot off the gas, not even. But they just don't. They just don't have that kind of makeup to just not play hard.
In the Portland game a couple weeks ago when they were down
to
end the third quarter, Ty Jerome hit a three. And we talked about the momentum swing at the end of the third quarter. It cut it from, I think it was 12-9 at the end. Maybe it was 13-10, whatever it was. But you could genuinely feel in the arena the momentum swing as Ty Jerome walked off the court as the third quarter buzzer sounded back to the bench with, all right, we're right here. And last night, Craig Porter Jr. hit a 60-foot shot to end the third quarter to cut it from 11-8. And as soon as that shot went in, you felt it. The Nets were not going to be able to hold off the Cavs' comeback. Had he missed that shot, they still may have come back. But that was another genuine momentum swing you could feel.
Yeah.
And it comes from guys you mentioned, Craig Porter Jr., Ty Jerome. It's not the guys who, Darius was awesome in the fourth quarter. We'll talk about him in a second. Jarrett and Evan played well last night. But these little momentum swings that have saved the Cavs on this win streak have often come from guys who aren't in the top 4, 5, 6 of the rotation. It's the fourth time on this 15-game win streak they've erased a 15-point deficit and won.
Yeah, it's wild.
4 times in 15 games they've done this. It's incredible.
And and Darius and Donovan, for really during this whole stretch, are not shooting well.
No. Darius got hot in the fourth quarter, struggled. He was 4 of 14 in the first 3 quarters, 7 of 10 in the fourth quarter.
Right, but still his three-point shot has just been terrible lately. What was he, 3 of 13 from 3?
Something like that, yeah.
The Cavs shot like 60% from 2 yesterday. And who shot well? Nobody shot well from 3 yesterday. I don't think anybody, somebody was.
Strus was 2 for 9.
Yeah, he was terrible. Garland was terrible.
Garland hit 3 threes, though, didn't he?
Yeah, but
I think he was 3 and 11.
Yeah,
3 for 11.
Yeah.
Okay. Strus was 3 for 10, right? What'd you say?
2 for 9 from 3.
2 for 9. Okoro was terrible. He was 0 for 5 from 3. Mobley was 1 for 3. Mobley kind of kept him in there in the first half. I think he made 8 of his first 9 shots, Mobley. Yeah. And the second half, as you said, fourth quarter especially, Darius and Jarrett Allen played well down the stretch. It certainly wasn't a game you're going to look back and say, man, what an impressive performance by the Cavs. But in the end, they find a way to get it done.
No one's going to remember that they, were down 18 or whatever. It's like, okay, 15 in a row, and we move on. It's like Sarah keeps asking me every night. She goes, "Are they really? They're going to win 70, aren't they?" I'm like, "Honey, I don't know. They won another one." I'm like, it just, because we're season ticket holders. Our actually next game is the 27th, and I'm like, man. By that point in time, they may be really be getting close to pushing it.
Yeah.
And offensively, in the fourth quarter, they turned it on. But defensively, during this win streak, last night held Brooklyn to 41 points in the second half. You're going to win a lot of games if you hold teams to under 50 points. They've had 6 different games during this 15-game win streak where the opponent has scored less than 50 points in the second half. In today's day and age of scoring galore, we've never seen higher points per game averages. If you're a gambler, the over-unders have never – you see 230s on an every-night basis now.
My God, it's
sometimes
been crazy.
240s. 6 different times on this win streak alone they've held opponents
Why
to
is
under
the
50%.
scoring so high? Is it lack of defense or is it just threes?
More
I
three-point
think there's so
shots.
many three-point shots. Yeah, but it's not like There was a stretch of time, I can't remember, it was the late 80s, the early 90s, where there were teams out west that were like the Warriors, the Nuggets, that were scoring crazy points. The Cavs are, it's funny, it seems like no matter what stat you look up, you expect to see the Cavs on some all-time list. And they are, they're I want to say the 12th highest scoring team in the history of the NBA.
The number one offensive rating in the history of the league.
Right, but in terms of just points per game.
Yeah.
They're like 12th or 5th, whatever, top 20. And most of the teams in that top 20 are from the past, like from way back in the day. I think the only team recently, the Thunder or the Memphis Grizzlies are also on that list because the Cavs have barely added them. The Pacers last year actually averaged more points than the Cavs are averaging.
Well, they played the old Suns 7 seconds and less. And that's kind of why the points per game was higher. It wasn't even that they played less defense, but they would run, shoot, and they'd shoot in 10 seconds. That was the whole Mike D'Antoni 7 seconds or less motto. And a lot of those teams were getting up and down the court boom, 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 get shots up at just an incredible rate. And if you're going to take 100 shots in a game, you're going to make enough to score points like that.
You know, I was watching, this is kind of just off beat path a little bit, but I happened to see a clip from, what's his name? What's that guy who works for ESPN?
Amin El-Hassan. He's not with them anymore, I don't think.
Oh, or wherever he does a podcast.
He's with DraftKings, and those guys love it. Right.
Okay. Yeah. So he was on his podcast. He had Channing Frye. I don't know how recent this was, but somewhat recent. Probably last week or two. And he said, Amin El-Hassan was like, if your Cavs team that won the championship played this Cavs team, these guys would kick your ass. That's what he said to Channing Frye. And he goes, no way. Channing Frye was like, no, we'd win. He's like, we had two bullies, LeBron and Kyrie, and they have no bullies. Now, the Cavs have been, the one criticism, especially coming into this year, was that the Cavs may be a little soft and don't have that toughness. Do we think Channing Frye's right? Do the Cavs have no bullies? Is Donovan Mitchell not a bully?
I think he can be a bully. He's shown at times, and he's shown in playoff series that he can be a bully. Last year against Orlando, put 50 points up in Game 5. That's a put up or shut up moment. Donovan has proven that he can come through in those situations. Is it at the LeBron level where you just expect literal greatness every time the man steps on the court in a playoff situation? No, he's had his shortcomings. We saw the Knicks series. LeBron isn't perfect either. We saw the playoff NBA Finals against Dallas. They all have their downfalls, but you look at the games against Boston this year, particularly if you're looking for individual instances in this season of what a bully Donovan can be. The fourth quarter at home when they beat Boston, when he went perfect from the floor and scored 20 points. And then 3 Fridays ago, whatever that Celtics comeback was, where Donovan had 41 points on the road in Boston after trailing by 22. Sure, he has to do it in the playoffs and win at that level to be in the same conversation as LeBron and those guys, but I certainly think Donovan could be a bully in that instance.
You think he's a bully?
The Cavs haven't really needed to have someone to do that. They've been so good. The Warriors had Draymond.
Yep.
But even then, Draymond was a liability for them too in a lot of cases.
Sure,
you know what I mean? So the Cavs, I don't think the Cavs are too nice, even though they seem like nice guys.
Yeah.
But they're just so strong at everything that they do. They don't really have to. I think they intimidate their opponent by how well they play together.
I think there's truth in that. Yeah, and I think Donovan Mitchell is a bully, kind of how he in the way Channing Frye's describing it. I think Donovan Mitchell does fit that, so I don't agree with him. Now, yes, but you say, well, Donovan Mitchell hasn't gone far in the playoffs, and that's fair. Kyrie last year he made it to the finals.
He didn't do anything before LeBron got there either.
But before he had never gone anywhere without LeBron until last year. So, he had to prove he could do it without LeBron, and he did. Now, Donovan Mitchell's always been the best player on every team he's been on. So, he's had some disappointments in the playoffs, and if they don't at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and at the very least play a hard-fought 7-game series with the Celtics, then, there's going to be some criticism that we'll come up with. But I do believe that Donovan Mitchell is a bully. We don't have two, obviously.
Well, if you go by the stats.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's define what you think he meant by bully.
I think what he means is, I guess, a guy who's got dog in him, right? And can take over and just be that guy. And Evan Mobley might. It's not fair to say he's that yet.
No, he's not. I think in the clutch this season, Darius has been that. And we've talked about Darius's clutch resume all season. Kenny said last night after the game, he is the NBA's most clutch player. He should be in the running to win Clutch Player of the Year, not just in the running, but should be considered the front runner. They don't have odds on that award, which is stupid. It's the only award they don't have odds on. And if you pull up Darius's clutch resume, we've updated this like 4 or 5 times. This is the updated one after last night. He's top 3 in the league in almost anything. He has, by the way, the 10th most points on the 25th most shots. So there are guys who are having way higher volumes in the clutch than Darius who have technically scored more points, but no one's been more efficient. No one's been better in those moments. I don't know if he's a bully yet.
That's different than the playoffs.
I don't know if he's a bully, but I'm just saying he's in those moments where you need a guy to step up and play at his best. Last night, another perfect example, 18 points in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Darius, this season, has come through in those moments.
But doing that against the Nets in a regular season game is
totally
not the
fair.
same. And there are times where, like, Kyrie Irving and LeBron James are never in a situation where they're getting dominated.
Fact.
And Darius is sometimes. Because, what's that?
He can be put in a disadvantageous situation.
He's not that level. And so he's got to prove more. He's got more to prove, and so does Donovan in the playoffs. But certainly Darius does. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But anyway, I just thought it was an interesting comments. You're always going to believe in terms of Channing Frye's comments, like you're always going to believe your team is better. We talked about this the other. Were you here when we talked about this? I can't remember. I would take the 2016 team over this team.
I asked that question.
Ultimately you would, because that team has the championship medal, and one team has LeBron. It's just it's unfair.
Yeah, and remember that was LeBron 9 years ago.
Yeah,
right.
Isn't that crazy? 9 years ago,
which is insane because he's still doing it at that level.
Yeah. One more thing on Darius, real quick.
Yeah.
So they won last night because he was awesome in the fourth quarter. And their defense was incredible down the stretch. Like I said, they held Brooklyn to 18 points in the fourth quarter, which in today's day and age, if you hold a team under 20 points, something has gone terribly wrong offensively, and defensively you get a ton of credit. But what Darius did to close that game, I thought was pretty special. And it goes back to something Dustin's talked about a lot when he talks about tennis. I know it's a bad tennis morning.
No,
I apologize.
No, I can get back into it.
Before I show you some of the stuff that Darius did, can you talk about the importance of sequencing in tennis? Because I think we saw something from Darius last night in terms of sequencing that set up the dagger, which eventually won them the game.
When you say sequencing?
Shot sequencing. You hit 3 to a guy's forehand to set up the backhand.
The next point. Yeah. I mean, it's in tennis, not that anyone cares that much about it, but
or even in football, play calling in football, the importance of sequencing.
Yeah, but I mean, like in football, I mean, you would maybe set something up on first and second down for a bigger third down, or later in the drive to set something up. I mean, like, in like tennis, you're a little bit more patient, and you pick your spots based on what you do prior. Now, in terms of basketball, give me your comparison here, because like I'm fascinated by this now.
Yeah. So Darius, there's a couple different ways of sequencing in basketball. You could put dribble combinations together to set up. All right, I'm gonna go do 2 crossovers. So on the third time, he's gonna expect it. I'm gonna go in and out and hit him with the right hand. Darius last night in the fourth quarter had 3 plays that I thought actually set up the game dagger, because they were up 101-99, and Darius ends up hitting a little floater over Nick Claxton. And in real time, I didn't think anything of it, but when I went back and watched to cut some of the highlights for the Darius montage, I go, ooh, that was open because of what he did earlier in the quarter. So I found these 3 plays, and we got a new stylus that I want to try, so that was kind of the combination. We wanted to make sure the tech works. But all 3 of these plays come from the fourth quarter last night. The last one, the third play you'll see, is the game sealing bucket to make it 103-99. But this is the first play. Darius is going to end up starting off by getting the steal here. First off, great defense from Darius. When we get to this point, you see where where Deron Sharp is sitting back. This is frozen already, so great start here. All right, we're good. No, we're back. There he is. Deron Sharp's dropped back. It's about 5 feet off of Darius. If I rewind a little bit, you'll see Cam Thomas, who's right here, came behind Darius to leave him open. That is 4 or 5 feet of space for Darius in transition. Darius, despite the fact he did not shoot well in this game from 3, that's way too much space to leave Darius Garland.
Do you think
pull up, bucket, and the drop? And you can ask the question in 1 second, but when you see it play back and roll through 3-4 times, just watch where the big ends up getting to, allowing Darius to shoot and giving him the space to shoot, which is going to set up the next move here. Bull, what's your question?
Do you think he backed off because Darius has been struggling, or is it just he was afraid he was going to drive past?
I think if he gets up close to him, he would have easily took him off the dribble.
Exactly.
Right, okay,
so
that's what I thought.
He was trying to get himself a little bit of room.
Gotcha.
Exactly. So and as a big, you want to protect the rim. He's their biggest guy in the court. You want to get back.
Right.
Cam Thomas did a bad job, I thought, going behind Darius and leaving that space. But Darius, who missed his last 6 threes before that, pulled up in transition, makes it. All right, so we got the next clip here. Also starts on defense. Shout out to Darius. Gets a steal off a missed pass. And this is Darius in a 3-on-2 situation. You got Okoro, Allen, and Garland in yellow for the Cavs, and you got 2 defenders back there. Look at that with the stylus. It works very nice. I like this.
That's impressive. I like that.
For the Nets, so you got a 3-on-2 situation here. This is Noah Clowney. Oh, I got to change the buttons here. That's Noah Clowney here. And Noah Clowney's a 6'7" wing, long arms, bigger than Darius, right?
Yeah.
But he's the guy you got to watch here. I'm going to play it and pause. Darius is going to do a little hesitation dribble. Just a minute and a half ago, Darius stopped in transition, pulled up a 3. He's going to do a little hesitation dribble. And you can see just by the slight hesitation, Clowney's feet get planted. He takes 1 step forward, and Darius is going to blow by him for the layup. I'm going to try to pause this right there. That's the crossover. I go back 1 frame, which is impossible on the iPad. You see Darius goes hezzy. Clowney's feet are planted. His top foot's coming up, which leaves a wide open lane for Darius to get past, get to the cup, and finish. Really tough finish, by the way, because he's going over 2 bigger guys.
And so with the pause, he thought he was going to
You'll see
do what he had just done.
You'll see the hesitation here in full time. It's a slight hesitation. Crossover, go by. It's slight.
And because he just pulled up
a minute and a half ago, just pulled up. You only need a slight hesitation.
Like a play-action fake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now here's a third clip. This is the game-sealing bucket. It is 101-99, less than a minute to go. Another transition opportunity for Darius, NBA.com. I don't know why I didn't pick up the steal on this play, but what you can't see before I play this is Nick Claxton is back at the bucket, and Jarrett Allen's in the left wing here. Over in this area, but past, you just can't see it on the screen. Nick Claxton is 6'11", athletic, bouncy. He's the Nets' best rim protector by far. In this quarter already, we've seen Darius pull up from 3. We've seen Darius hesitation dribble, get to the cup. This time, he's going to use Jarrett Allen and Claxton's inability to decide and predict what Darius is going to do against him. So as Darius gets past the defender, you see Claxton, you see Jarrett Allen. This is what you got to watch here. And watch Claxton's back foot. I'm going to try pausing this as quickly as I can. Darius is going to give a little ball fake, just enough to get Claxton to react. Because at this point, Claxton says, we got to get a stop. I can't give up anything. I'm not in a position now to concede any kind of bucket. We're already down 2. If he pulls up here, I have to contest. If he gets to the cup, I have to be ready to block the shot. He's going to give the ever so slight ball fake, which you saw real quick there. And I'm going to rewind it real quick just so I can pause at the right spot. Right there. I missed it again, but you got half a second ago. Look at Nick Claxton's back foot. That ball fake gets Claxton to plant his back foot. Look how close these two are. I mean, that's, what, a foot of separation? But because Darius is going up, as Claxton's back foot is planted,
Claxton can't go straight up.
He's able to finish over the top. He's planted,
giving up
stuck
a foot
in sand.
almost.
Giving up, no, literally a foot. 6'1" versus 7 foot. I mean, I guess 11 inches there.
Yeah.
Claxton's athletic, bouncy. Darius pulled up. Okay, you have to be ready for that. Darius is going right by in hesitation. Be ready for that. You give the little ball fake to Allen.
Right.
Claxton doesn't know what to do.
Especially with a big guy, because even he may be bouncy, but big guys, it takes them longer to
get off the ground.
Going.
And with Allen behind you, you can't leave Allen. That's an easy alley-oop.
Right.
Darius set that play up. That game-winning bucket from Darius was a result of the 2 earlier buckets he had in the fourth quarter.
That's a nice job by you, because those are little quick moments that you wouldn't necessarily notice. And it is similar to football in a way where, let's say the quarterback, play action fake, or the quarterback puts it in the running back's belly. You think he's going to pull it out. Then the running back takes it, gets a big run. Well, now the defense is moving up, worried about the running back, and you get the pass off, or the quarterback keeps it. And it's, what you do during the game sets up things later in the game. And those are little things that a lot of people wouldn't even have noticed. So nice job by you, because you don't really notice them unless you're
I noticed them real time. I had to
pausing and see. Because some of these fakes by Darius and other players, obviously, are so quick.
Ryan Day explained how on the cruise he explained the play where they hit Jeremiah Smith with the
championship
in the tutty against Notre Dame, and how they had sort of set that up earlier in the game, and they got the look that they wanted perfectly, and obviously it worked out. But I mean, that's a great example. I mean, you do something to set up the big moment. And Garland obviously took advantage of it. I don't even know how much he was even really thinking about it, in those moments, but it great instincts.
The last one is more a reaction play.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you the little hesitation dribble to get past Clowney on the right wing, he knew I just hit a 3.
Yeah.
I'm going to show him the ball. He has to react, and I'm going right by him. So,
absolutely.
And that's part of the reason. He had 18 points in the fourth quarter. He was terrific in the fourth quarter again last night. Cavs win 15 in a row.
It's
hard to argue.
It's unreal. And they'll play Memphis on Friday. First time they've had 2 days off, I feel like, in a while.
They flew to Nashville last night. They're spending today. Darius is from Nashville.
Yeah.
So they're spending the day with Darius' family and going to the SEC tournament as a little team bonding before Memphis on Friday.